Long ago, Kuchisake Onna was known for her breathtaking beauty. People marveled at her flawless skin and features, and she basked in the admiration. Obsessed with her appearance, she would spend hours gazing into mirrors, enamored with her reflection. Her allure eventually captivated a powerful samurai, and the two were wed. Yet, as time passed, her vanity grew insatiable, driving her to seek attention from other men. She craved their adoration, filling an endless need for validation. But word of her infidelities reached her husband's ears, and he was overcome with jealousy and rage. Instead of leaving her, he chose a different punishment. One night, in a fit of vengeance, he drew his sword and sliced her face from ear to ear, leaving a wide, hideous gash across her once beautiful smile. As she cried in pain, he cursed her.
Who will call you beautiful now?
Though her life ended, her spirit lived on. Consumed by grief and wrath, she became the vengeful Kuchisake Onna, condemned to roam the earth eternally, seeking the admiration she was forever denied. Cloaked by twilight, she wanders dimly lit streets, her face hidden behind a mask, her beautiful eyes showing a glimpse of her once former self. Those who encounter her say she appears with long, dark hair, framing her masked face, sometimes in a traditional kimono, other times dressed in modern clothes, blending effortlessly into the night. She will approach you in silence and ask in a soft, sweet voice,
"Am I pretty?"
If you answer yes, she pulls down her mask to reveal her disfigured mouth, the ghastly grin carved deep across her face. She'll ask again,
"Am I pretty now?"
If you scream or say no, she kills you instantly with a blade she carries, often a pair of rusty scissors. Answer yes, and she will carve your mouth to match her own, condemning you to share her horrific smile. Yet, there are ways to escape. Some say telling her she looks average or okay might confuse her, giving you a chance to run. Others suggest tossing money or hard candy as a distraction. No one knows if these tricks work, but Kuchisake Onna continues her relentless search. The legend claims she still haunts those lonely streets, lingering in the shadows, waiting to ask that terrifying question.
"Am I pretty?"
There once was a woman of striking beauty named Maria, who captivated a wealthy man's heart. Soon after, they married and had 2 children. But as time passed, her husband grew cold, seduced by wealth and another woman. One day, Maria saw them, her husband with the woman, walking by the river where he once swore his undying love to her. Grief clawed at her heart, twisting it into a rage. Maria dragged her children to the river.
"Since I'm nothing to him, he will have nothing from me,"
she cried. Her trembling hands pushed their little bodies under the surface. The river roared as if to drown out their screams. When it was over, Maria stood alone, the horror of her deed haunting her. Sobbing uncontrollably, she wandered along the river, calling out for her children.
"Mis hijos."
Her wails echoed through the valley, carrying her torment. Unable to bear her guilt, Maria flung herself into the water, hoping for release. But death offered no peace. The villagers say she rose from the depths, cursed to roam for eternity, searching for her lost children. Her once beautiful face was now a mask of agony, her eyes hollow, endlessly shedding ghostly tears. They call her La Llorona, the weeping woman, her mournful cries bringing despair or worse. She'll even take other children thinking they are hers, leading them to the same fate. Just imagine, you walk too close to that river one night. The air is heavy and filled with fog. Then a soft weeping drifts toward you. At first it's faint, almost tricking your mind, but then it grows louder, getting closer, Your heart pounds. You remember the warnings, but curiosity lured you to the spot. Through the fog, a figure emerges. A woman in white, her dress clinging to her wet skeletal form. Her hair is long and veils her face. She pauses at the edge of the river, her cries tearing through the stillness. The sound surrounds you, freezing your soul. You take a step, then you see her. Her face, a vision of sorrow and rage, the hollows of her eyes glowing faintly.
Have you seen my children?
She asks. Your mind screams at you to run, but your legs won't obey. She glides closer, her ghostly form defying the ground. Suddenly, her cries turn into a scream. Her outstretched arms reach for you. In a panic, you turn and run, the haunting wail of La Llorona chasing you in the night. You make it home safely, but you can still hear her voice faintly in the wind. Was it just a story? Or perhaps she's still out there, weeping, forever searching for her children. In the sleepy town of Terrell, Texas, the legend of the Candy Lady has haunted the streets for decades. Parents brushed off the stories as nonsense, something older kids made up to frighten the younger ones. But those who have seen the dark side of her tale know the warnings are more than just folklore. It always started the same way. A child would find a single piece of candy on their windowsill. A peppermint, a caramel, maybe a butterscotch. Just one at first. But then, more would appear. The sweet little treats wrapped neatly, sometimes with a note in odd handwriting. Come outside and play. Most children ignored them, but the curious ones couldn't resist. One summer, a boy named Jacob went missing. His parents tucked him into bed the night before. Yet by morning, his room was empty, and the window left slightly ajar through the night. The only clue was a single half-eaten piece of candy on his windowsill. The sheriff searched the fields, only finding a small tooth and an empty candy wrapper. Days stretched into weeks, and still, there was no sign of Jacob. But then, something strange happened. Some of the children in town began speaking of finding candy. Others admitted to receiving notes. One child claimed he saw her one night. He was lying in bed, falling asleep, when he heard a soft rustling outside his window. At first, he thought it was the wind, until he heard the faint sound of someone's laughter. Sweet, but eerie. He didn't dare move. He didn't dare breathe. Slowly, his eyes drifted toward the window, and there, in the darkness, two glistening eyes stared back. She looked old, and her skin stretched over her bones. Her smile was wide, and her teeth looked like polished glass. In her hand, she held out a small, shiny piece of wrapped candy.
Come outside and play,
she whispered. The boy screamed, scrambling for his parents. But by the time they arrived, there was nothing there. Just an open window and a single piece of candy resting on the windowsill. No one else dared to speak of the Candy Lady, but the legend still lingers. Some say she's still searching for children to lure them with sweets. Others claimed she lost her only child, but was wrongly accused of it, and was sent to an asylum. When she was released, she sought revenge on the town that betrayed her. And even till this day, in the dead of night, when the air is still and the streets are silent, someone finds a shiny, sweet treat resting on their windowsill sometimes, even with a note that says,
come outside and play.
Are you sure about this?
Jenna said, her eyes darting to the others in the room. Her friends, Emily and Claire, exchanged nervous glances, but said nothing. The dare had already gone too far to back out now. The legend was simple. Light 3 candles, stand before a mirror in total darkness, and chant Bloody Mary 3 times. If the stories were true, her vengeful spirit would appear, drawn by the audacity of the living to summon her. Jenna reached for the matches, her hand trembling slightly as she struck one against the box. The flame flared to life, throwing eerie shadows onto the walls. She lit the candles, the room filling with a warm, golden glow that felt anything but comforting.
Let's get this over with.
Claire whispered, her voice barely audible over her heartbeat. The 3 girls stood shoulder to shoulder in front of the mirror, their reflections distorted by the warped glass. Emily took a deep breath and began.
Bloody Mary.
Her voice was steady as she gripped the edge of the sink.
Bloody Mary.
Claire followed, her voice shaking slightly. The candle flames flickered, though there was no breeze. All 3 spoke the name for the 3rd time, their voices merging into a single chorus.
Bloody Mary.
For a moment, nothing happened. The only sounds were the faint hiss of the candles and the girls' ragged breathing. Then, the room grew colder, heavy with an unnatural chill. The candles flickered wildly, their flames stretching and twisting.
Wait, did you see that?
Emily's voice was barely a whisper, her eyes locked on the mirror. A faint smudge began to form on the surface, growing darker and clearer with each passing second. It was a face. The figure in the mirror was not their reflection. A pale, hollow-eyed woman stared back at them, her mouth twisted into a grotesque smile. Her hair hung in damp, tangled strands. Jenna screamed, stumbling back and knocking over one of the candles. The flames sputtered out, plunging part of the room into darkness. The figure in the mirror moved, its hand reaching forward, pressing against the inside of the glass.
We need to leave,
Claire said, her voice rising in panic. She grabbed Jenna's arm, pulling her toward the door, but the door wouldn't budge. It was as if something on the other side held it shut. The mirror began to crack, thin lines spreading across its surface. The woman's face twisted, her mouth opening to reveal jagged, blood-stained teeth.
Blow out the candles!
Emily shouted. She lunged for the remaining flames, extinguishing them one by one. With the final candle snuffed out, the room plunged into total darkness. For a moment, everything was silent. Then a chilling whisper echoed through the room, soft but eerie.
I'm not done with you yet.
The door suddenly flew open, and the girls stumbled into the hallway, gasping for air. They slammed the door shut behind them, their hearts racing. When they opened the door again, the bathroom was empty. The mirror was whole, the candles neatly arranged as if nothing had happened. But none of them missed the faint smudge still lingering on the glass, a single bloody handprint. They never spoke of that night again, but they swore they could still feel her eyes watching them whenever they passed a mirror in the dark.
I'm not done with you yet.
Have you ever had a creepy encounter with any of these urban legends? If so, please share it in the comments. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a like and subscribe for weekly creepy urban legend stories just like these.